the first dish this evening is a simple risotto. We've dubbed this risotto Aldo Clerico because normally a risotto is made with white wine to deglaze the pan and to deglaze the pan. In this case, we're going to be using red wine. This gives the risotto a little bit of color, a little bit of different flavors. And in this dish, really, I think just about any of Aldo's wines would be great to use, depending on, you know, what do you want to call the dish? Do you want it to be risotto al Barolo, risotto al Barbera, or I think tonight we'll make it risotto al Dogliani. So we're starting off here with the pan with a little bit of oil. Start off with your base for risotto, which is going to be onion. I've pre-chopped it here. And you're going to want to get it nice and soft. Another important aspect of risotto is to toast the rice. So we add a little bit of onion to give it a little bit of flavor. And then what's important is the risotto is not supposed to be a boiled rice like you would think of maybe at a Chinese restaurant, where it's boiled and it's very soft and it's a mild flavor that's meant to be a side to the sauces that are there. So instead, the rice itself is the dish, and it's important to keep each chicco or each grain of rice on kind of its own separate thing, like a piece of pasta. For this, we start off with carnaroli rice, carnaroli, yeah.
Carnaroli, yes.
Carnaroli rice, because it's got a little bit of the grain is a little bit easier to keep separate. And then we're going to be toasting it. So I have my rice, I've already measured it out here. My onion is soft. I'll add that in. And now I'll begin to toast my rice, mixing it in with the onion. I get it hot. This will help the rice to create kind of like a crust. And while it's cooking, it'll always maintain a little bit of integrity and shape and not become too mushy. For that reason, I also have back here a pot of boiling broth that I do not have a label for. Boiling broth will help to keep the rice as I cook it at an even temperature, never getting too cool, never cooling down, and it'll allow it to really cook at an even temperature and create a good product. So your rice will be toasted when it's hot to touch. You don't want it to burn you or begin to burn the rice. So now I am going to just turn on.
When she's doing something, it comes up.
Okay. We have a fire sensor that turns off our gas line if there's too much alcohol. So I have to turn on the hood to keep the air circulating so I don't lose my gas. Because if I have to call Joelle to turn the gas on, he'll kill me. Blazing the plan here. This is where, for a normal risotto, you would use white wine.
Did anyone make this dish?
No.
Once the wine has been cooked off a little bit, we're going to start adding broth. But you don't want to add too much at once, because otherwise it gets that boiled flavor. So we add just a little bit at a time to allow it to cook, but never boil. So it's always just almost sauteed. And it'll be about 14 to 15 minutes now until it's cooked. So my rice is almost done cooking here. So the next part of this recipe that really brings out the Langhe is using a local cheese known as tuma piemontese. And a tuma, there's lots of different types of tuma, first of all. However, this one that comes most traditionally in this big wheel is a mild flavor, kind of like a Monterey Jack type flavor. And it gives a little bit of extra flavor to the risotto, gives a little bit of extra creaminess. So I've already cubed here a slice of it. You can see kind of a little bit smaller than your typical dice. So I'm gonna put some of it in now that the rice is almost done cooking. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in, keeping a few cubes to the side for garnish. But we're just gonna mix this in and start to let it melt here. So that as the rice finishes cooking, we'll get the cheese nice and creamy and melty. And then we'll begin the last stage of a risotto, which is called mantecato. And the mixture of the starches of the rice with different fats to help create a creamy texture and once again create that typical risotto feeling. So to do that, you mix in a lot of butter.
Yum. That's good.
And some Parmigiano Reggiano. I've already grated ahead of time. Some Parmigiano, or you can use Grana Padano. If you would like. Okay, and then
Oh, you can see the pop.
put this together.
I'm looking at it.
And during this period where you're mantecando the rice, you want to stir a lot to make sure that you're really mixing those starches together, and you can really see it just become more creamy. So here we're just about all of that cooked down. All right.
It's actually really not that long.
Okay, I'm gonna plate it up here. 3 plates because I have my video tech behind the scenes that's helping me out.
So Aldo's gonna try it too, right? I know he's probably
I
interested.
told him
in-
yesterday, come hungry.
No.
Okay. And we'll finish it off with our cubes here of tuma. And it's ready to serve. So I don't know if you guys can see it here in the video. I don't want it to slide off the plate, but
It's beautiful
Looks
color.
beautiful.
Beautiful color.
Aldo, if you would.
Senti tu.
Voilà, io ho già assaggiato in padella.
Ah, ok.
Here we go. And I'll dig in on this side.
Perfetto.
Grazie.
Buonissimo.
Grazie.
Complimenti. Non posso assaggiare.